I can hear you. I can hear you. I can hear you. I can hear you.
Hey everybody, welcome to the stream. Monday night, 9 p.m. You know how it goes. Gonna be doing some comic work, as you can see. With me, as most of the time, is Toll Dog.
Hello.
Alright, so...
Are you saying I'm mostly with it, or I'm only with you part of the time?
Only part of the time.
Okay.
Part-time co-anchor.
That's right. When I've got nothing better to do.
It's like Kelly and Michael, and I'm Kelly.
Sure.
Guest hosts all the time.
I'll take that.
So, I'm trying out something new tonight, everybody. Well, first of all, I'm trying out two things new tonight. One is a plug for this awesome Star Wars coffee mug. I don't know if you can see, but it's only light speed where the hot beverage is. So, as you drink, you bring Han and Chewie out of light speed.
That's awesome.
And hibiscus tea is good. That's also true. So, I hope everybody had a great new year and is having a good 2017. First stream of 2017, first strip of 2017. I'm also playing with something cool. I've talked about my Genovation 24 key thing before, where you can kind of program keys so you're not hitting keys on the keyboard. Well, I'm trying this guy. Hopefully the cord will reach. I don't know if you can see it. This is the Razer Tartarus. Check it out. I think it's Tartarus. It's basically a gaming controller, but you can do the same thing inside the Razer Synapse software. You can program keys. The main difference is that there's no keycaps, so you have to memorize what your keys are, which is meh. But I have like a little cheat sheet thing up so that I can just sort of mouse over and see. Basically, I'm running Razer Synapse at the same time. I think I got everything down, at least for the main stuff. So I'm going to give it a whirl tonight and see how it goes. It's a little bit different. You know, the Genovation, in comparison, I don't know if I can lift this one up enough to get it on camera. The Genovation is just square, as you can see. And so... this is way more ergonomic and cool and stuff like that. And I don't know that that's going to make a huge difference. I mean, you know, if I was using it 10 hours a day, the ergonomics may become a thing. But for right now, I don't think it's going to make a huge difference. But I'm going to give it a try because it's more expensive than the Genovation, but you can also buy it at like Best Buy and stuff like that, and you don't have to worry about getting it from Amazon and getting it shipped and not knowing if you'll like it or not. Because if you get it, you play with it, and you don't like it, guess what? You can take it back. And I know you can send stuff back to Amazon too, but sometimes that's a pain in the butt. So...
Yeah, I mean, you get Amazon credit, which just means you get to buy more stuff, right?
Yeah, but it's still it can be a pain in the butt, though, to have to get stuff back to Amazon.
But you have to buy more stuff. That's win-win.
For Amazon.
Oh.
Not for me. That's not win-win for me.
I was thinking it was a perfect excuse.
Nope. I'm
also... you know that... Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say I'm also trying some different file settings tonight for the strip, so we'll see how that goes as well. I found out, interestingly enough, and I'm not going to talk bad about them. I mean, they were very helpful when I said it, but I updated to Clip Studio Paint 1.6.2, and buddy, did that mess everything up. holy crap. So if you watch, you can see I hit my little hotkey here, which is essentially the space bar, and it turns into the hand, and you can move around. Yay. So for whatever reason, I guess it's on my machine. On my Apple laptop, it worked fine. But 162, whenever I go to the hand and move it around, it crashes, hard crashes the entire program. Locks up Windows. Windows starts throwing all of these system interrupt processes into the task manager. I mean, everything just completely stops. And obviously, that's a no cool. So I tweeted about it, and Smith Micro, the American distributor of the software, you know, they were very nice and said to please contact their customer support if I've still had issues. But I just, like, I had to get work done. So I had to revert back to 1.5.4, I believe, and go from there. And, you know, no problems on the reversion. Reversion? Is that a thing? That's a thing, right?
Downgrade.
Downgrade. That'll work. Yeah, see, I already forgot what my undo key was, so I gotta go look. That's what I thought. Yeah, so use at your own risk. I mean, I couldn't find anything online with other people saying they had the same problems, but I'm also not a huge, like, you know, forum participant. I like to read other people solve my problems for me, but I'm not huge on actually helping.
Right.
Which
right.
I guess is bad, but I don't know. So,
Well, think of it this way: you drive up the page counts for the forum, which in turns into ad revenue.
yeah,
So you help keep the lights on.
that's it. That's what we'll go with. I've been watching this guy who has a YouTube channel, and his name is Brian Allen, and his stuff is amazing. And he uses Manga Studio or Clip Studio Paint, whatever you want to call it. And he says that inking at 600 DPI makes a difference as opposed to inking at 300 DPI with the way the inks look at the end and how they go on and stuff like that. So that's kind of what I'm trying tonight is I'm inking, my template file here is usually 300 DPI, but I'm trying it at 600 DPI. Now the interesting thing is that the brush sizes and the way the brushes work changes with the DPI, which I guess makes sense, but does it really? I'm pretty sure that Photoshop does some stuff under the hood to sort of, you know, you change the DPI, but the brush isn't actually changing. Like, it still looks like the same brush when you draw with it. Here, they must be relying on some DPI math for the way their rendering of a brush stroke works, and so it's a little bit weird. So my quote-unquote inking style is probably going to be slightly different than it normally is. But I got to try the 600 DPI thing, so we're going to give it a whirl.
Well, it looks nice and clean on the stream.
Yeah, I feel like the brush stroke itself gets fat really quick. Like my pressure is super light from my hand to keep it thin, and normally I can kind of muscle it a little bit more, you know. But if I get too out of control, it gets way too thick, way too quick.
You almost need like a different pressure curve for that DPI setting then.
Yep, and that would help. But here's my thing. So custom pressure curves is something that Manga Studio allows you to have, which is awesome. Okay? By all means, awesome. But that being said, I have a weird software fear of being forced to use the software in its default state and not being able to bring my pressure curve with me.
Right.
And so not being able to do that is kind of interesting. Now, one thing I could do is possibly come in here and change the driver for the Cintiq, and that'll have an impact for sure. And I wouldn't be drawing on anything that didn't have a Wacom driver anyway. So
Right. Interesting.
it sure wouldn't be the Microsoft Surface Studio whatever, their big screen. I played with that over the holidays at the Microsoft store.
What's the verdict?
I wasn't blown away. By any means.
So you weren't ready to sell all your Apple stock and invest everything in Microsoft now? Yeah.
Well, it's different. I mean, I'm sitting here using Windows, but I also, now that I work in game development, Windows is kind of a thing that has to be dealt with. But I mean, if I could work on a Mac, I would. Especially like one of the new iMac, the new like 5K display iMacs.
Right.
Oh yeah. But I don't know. I played with the Surface in the store, and it just didn't. I don't know. It just didn't do it for me. It just didn't feel good. The puck is a cool idea, but it just did not feel awesome to me. And it felt very like, even this Cintiq 21UX, this is an old Cintiq. I mean, and it's still trucking along. And I mean, there's a couple dead pixels. I got one right here. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's red where I just circled, and it basically stays with me all the time. Like, it's a dead pixel, and there's a few of them, but there's still plenty of pixels here to work with. Like, I'm not hurting for pixels yet. Yeah, this has a texture to it, and I switch my nibs out for weed eater cord and stuff like that, and I get a texture with that, so it feels like I'm actually drawing to a degree. And buddy, that Microsoft Studio, Surface Studio, it just feels like glass. I mean, it's like you've got a black paintbrush on glass.
Interesting.
And I just couldn't do it. Like, just not for me. Not for me. I mean, clearly there's going to be artists out there that just absolutely rock and roll on it, but if I had my druthers, which I do since I'm the one buying.
You're
my own
full of
equipment.
druthers.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so changing the pressure in the driver seems to even out the DPI differences here quite a bit, which is cool.
That must be weird when you get used to everything looking a certain way and then it doesn't when you're doing the exact same motion in the same software.
Yeah, right. It's like doing some sort of motor skills test, and it's like, I told you to move. Why aren't you moving? Speaking of weird motor skills stuff, have you seen Carrie Byron's new show on Netflix, The White Rabbit Project?
I have not.
There was I saw like one bit of an episode that was pretty cool where she took Corey, you remember from Mythbusters, Corey?
Yeah, they got Grant and Corey, yeah.
Yeah, and she hooked up electrodes to her and then hooked up electrodes to him, and then she was controlling his motor functions with her motor functions.
Interesting.
So he was like, he would like try to take a drink, and then she would like twitch her hand, and his whole arm would just fly off to the side,
Hmm.
which was super cool.
That's crazy. Well, I saw some of that technology's advanced quite a bit.
Yeah, it's pretty
Yeah, 'cause
scary.
well, they're using it to control robotic arms and stuff like that for amputees and whatnot.
Yeah,
So that part's pretty sharp. But I mean, it's just electricity, right?
it's just electric. It's just the electric.
We're all puppets. It's just our strings or electricity that runs through the body.
Sounds like Dr. Steve Brule. It's just the electric, man. Brule's rules, okay? You turkey?
So I saw a R2D2 French coffee press that would go along with your cup.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it was pretty sharp, but it had the Lucasfilm tax added onto it.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
yep. The privilege of buying an R2 anything.
Yep. R2D2 eraser, $25. And it doesn't even erase.
I watched Carrie Fisher's One Woman Show last night.
Oh,
They were running it on HBO, obviously in
sure.
honor of her. And uh, she said that Lucas owned her likeness and still
Right.
does, and was going through all the different stuff, like that she was like, when I look in a mirror, I have to pay him $3. Like, it was good stuff.
Well, it's interesting about that because I was reading an article that was initially about Rogue One and the digital version of
Spoilers, 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 spoilers.
of the one person being in there.
If you have not seen the movie yet, anyone
Right.
stop now and then come back.
Well, you don't have to mention any names, but it was just
Yeah, they
yeah.
use. Here's a big surprise: they use computer animation and CG effects in the movie. So there
So,
you go.
so they brought in a character that's known from the Star Wars universe as a younger version.
Oh my God, that's spoiler. I'm glad I said spoilers ahead of time.
How is that a spoiler?
Cause
Everybody knows where it takes place.
yeah, but that can only be one character.
There's millions of characters in the Star Wars universe.
No, there's not. Not a character that would show up in Episode 4 that would be younger, that needed to be younger to play in this movie. That's only three characters.
That's not true. All of them have definite ages.
Okay, four characters. So spoilers.
Anyways, so they had a slightly smaller version of Darth Vader running around, and they digitized on the diapers so you knew it was a baby Darth Vader.
Right, right.
But they're talking about in the future and the sequels. What will this mean with Carrie Fisher?
Right.
You know, it was like, will they try to include her?
I doubt it.
And then they're like, what about the not just the Rogue One sequels, but the actual main trilogy that's being worked on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously there won't be a Rogue One sequel.
I heard that there might be.
No.
Well, I mean, it won't be called Rogue One Part 2.
Well, no, they're gonna continue to do the Star Wars sort of universe movies,
Expanded universe, yeah.
and but well, it's not going to be that. That's sort of a bad word in the new
Right,
the
because
new
that's already
canon.
that's what the books were, right?
Yeah, that's all the stuff that has now been taken out and will not show up again ever. Everything from now on is canon and has to be approved by the story group at Disney and Lucasfilm.
Yeah. Well, it's about time they made sure all that stuff, all those ducks were in a row.
Yeah,
Last thing we would hate is for somebody to come in and completely change major characters like in Star Trek.
yeah, right. Has been known to happen.
Yeah. But I did see that they had insured Carrie Fisher for 50 million.
Who gets that?
Uh, Disney does.
God.
They get well. That money is for that was with Lloyd of London for her contract to complete the three films.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So that would be any sort of expenses, and you know, it's specifically to cover the expenses that would occur from possibly like digitizing her into the film, or you know, you know,
Yeah. Well,
whatever they'd have to do.
she was definitely done with 8, but nine
Yeah,
I'm sure will be a discussion for somebody at some point.
sure.
But I think they can sort of write her out of 9 and probably make it do, you know.
I'd hate to see her written out though. You know, I've got mixed feelings on that, right? Because she's such an important character into the universe,
Yeah.
and if there were things that were important for her to do, especially with the way the first movie was, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of drama going on. You want to see that resolve.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, I'm gonna obviously Force Awakens has been out, so if you haven't seen Force Awakens yet, then you're behind the times. So I'm not spoiler warning for that. So obviously her husband's not coming back. So
Maybe.
I don't know. No way.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, Harrison Ford has said he's done. So
But I thought they said he was getting his own movie.
no. That they're doing a young version of him.
Oh, that's right.
So it's the guy, it's the actor
That's
from
right.
if you have seen Hail Caesar, which is a fun movie.
I have not seen that yet.
Okay, that's a Coen Brothers movie.
Oh,
And it's got George Clooney, and I can't remember his name, but he plays Hobie. I think the character's name's like Hobie Doyle or something like that. He's the Western, like the Western movie star at the time, right? Because it's sort of an old Hollywood style movie.
oh, cool. I was
Yeah.
wondering how they get a Western person in with Caesar, but that makes sense.
Well, the movie is actually about Josh Brolin's character, who is a fixer at the studio.
Okay.
And so his whole job is basically wrangling the celebrities and the drama that happens.
Right.
And so George Clooney's character gets kidnapped
Huh. Okay.
while he's filming a movie called Hail Caesar
Right.
that is about the Roman Empire and their relationship to Christ.
Okay.
And so um,
Interesting.
yeah, so he ends up getting kidnapped, and then the resolution of all that is the movie, which is the first time I saw it, I was kind of like, huh, okay, but then having seen it on HBO subsequent times,
Yeah.
I've been able to really listen to the dialogue and look at the shots and setup and really look at how things are playing off of each other, And I'm like, nope, nope, this is great. This is actually amazing. I dig
Well,
it.
those are all. I mean, those are all things that they're very clever with, the Coen Brothers, right?
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And so I think the first time I saw it in the theater, I don't know. I was kind of I didn't quite pick up on a lot of the stuff, I guess, but it's like Oh Brother or Lebowski, one of those kind of movies, where it's the more you watch it, the more you're like, oh, that's awesome.
I was
And
trying to convince my mom that she really wanted to watch Oh Brother.
oh, she does.
I know. Well, I mean, she every now and then she gets in a bluegrass music sort of mood, and I'm like, Mom, this is right up your alley.
She worried about it being like too adult or something.
No, no, she just it's not on the Hallmark Channel, so she won't pay attention to it. It is our family's holiday tradition of watching Hallmark movies is rather fun, but it's like we all know they're cheesy, campy movies when we watch them,
Oh yeah.
but and it's almost like my parents are disappointed if I don't have anything to say.
they they just want to hear you make fun of the Hallmark Channel.
Right, right.
They're gonna be like,
Yeah,
look, we're gonna stop having you home for family Christmas unless you start making fun of the Hallmark Channel again.
that's right. How dare you say this is a wonderful movie? You need to.
That's when you need to go. Listen, Mom and Dad, I just don't have it in me anymore.
I swear though, it's like they're all the same formula,
Oh, of
you know.
course, man, of course, yeah.
And it's like the big one, at least this year that was the It's a Wonderful Life type spinoffs, right?
Yeah.
Where the person got to see what their life was like if they had made a different major decision, you know.
At some point.
Yep. Yep. And of course they want the romance instead of the it's like one lady busy office lady. She wanted to get promoted and she wanted the title and everything and she decided that being married was getting in the way of that, so she wished she had never gotten married. And angels who can't stop wars in Eastern Europe have plenty of time to show this poor lady what her life would be like if she,
That's so true.
hey, wait. I'm going to cause a Christmas miracle. Not that I'm going to stop people from fighting. Not that I'm going to help the homeless. It's not that I'm going to feed all these starving children in Africa. Nope. My power for a Christmas miracle is to make sure that you know what it's like had you never married your husband.
Well, it's like that, the cop who is on reading meters for the week or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I can't stop this crime from happening. I'm sorry. It's not my week. I mean, it's not. I just don't,
Right.
I only have the one set of handcuffs with me. I mean, I'm just not prepared for this.
There's no ticket in this book that handles an armed robbery. I'm just going to let you go. Besides, my meter maid vehicle will not catch up with them when they get away. Yeah, no, it's yeah. I mean, at least in the original, It's a Wonderful Life. Clarence was this was his chance to actually do something, right? He was earning his wings.
Well, yeah. Clarence he was self-serving at that point.
But they weren't going to. Well, but my point being is they weren't going to give him like this super huge task. Hey, go handle world peace. They're like, hey, here's this one guy. He's a good guy. He just needs a hand. Go. Right.
Right.
At least that's how I justify the amazing It's a Wonderful Life film.
It is a good film.
But yeah. Oh, those movies. But halfway through, the lady decides that the one guy that she started flirting with, 5 minutes ago, was not really a good guy, and she decides she's going to look up her husband that she had decided she didn't want to be married to, and starts hitting it off with him.
Oh, fate. It was meant to be.
Oh, no, no. The angel's like, whoa, 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 what are you doing? The whole point of this is not to do that. And she's like, but I miss him. And she's like, okay. And then next thing you find out is he has a fiance.
Dun dun dun.
I know.
See, that's the perfect place where it can get really dark really quick, and that's what Hallmark Channel is missing.
I know.
Like,
instead,
she could totally like kidnap and torture the lady, and
Right, right. But no, instead it goes the other direction where she has this conversation with him. He's like, I'm sorry I didn't tell you. And she's like, oh, it's okay. I understand. And then she's like, but do you love her?
And he's like, oh, by the way, do I know you?
Well, they've actually talked 2 or 3 times, and they flirted a little bit, but that was okay because his fiance was away, and then she had just come back and they all meet up at the Christmas party, which is how she finds out.
Gotcha. So
when she suddenly remembers, oh, hey, wait, I'm supposed to be marrying this other lady. I shouldn't be talking to this lady this way. Which would make me, if I was her, I would seriously go, I should worry about my husband.
Well, different zip code and all.
Right. But, yeah, she asks him, do you love her? And he doesn't say yes. But he says, that's the girl, and then she asks another question, and he goes, that's the girl I'm going to marry. And it's like, well, why couldn't you have just said yes when she asked if you love her?
Oh man!
Yeah.
See, I couldn't sit in a room with my mom and dad and watch it. I just couldn't do it. I would be like, no, I gotta go do something different right now.
It's like most of the time I pick holes in the plot and make fun of the horrible acting and how creepy some of the people come across, right? Like they have these guys who are supposed to be coming across all suave and flirting with the ladies, and I'm just like, that dude's weird. He is creepy. The way he just delivered that line, she's going to end up in the back of a panel van.
See, that's the ticket. That's where Hallmark needs to go. They need to get darker with their stories at the holidays.
Yeah, I'd pay to see money with Candace Cameron in a film like that, or Candace Cameron Brule or whatever her name is.
An Alaskan Murder for the holidays.
That's right.
That's what I'm saying.
That's a full basement. Did you see the producer of the Full House bought the house?
No, really?
Yeah.
I can imagine they had a discussion like it's about time.
Yeah, it's gone through a couple different owners since the show.
Stretch it out. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
What do they call them? The Painted Hill Ladies or whatever? Painted Ladies.
Oh, that string of houses.
Yeah.
It's I mean I've been to that neighborhood. It's over there in Dolores Park. I've seen the houses.
Yeah, but there's a term for it, and I think it's like the something ladies.
Yeah.
And but yeah, he bought the one that was the one focused in on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the type of thing where if I was the current owner and that was the person who was buying it from me, I'd make sure they paid top dollar.
They'd be paying more than top dollar if it was me. They'd be
right. Well, I mean that's what I mean, right? It's top dollar.
Because they're just gonna turn that into a tourist trap.
Of course. That's where I'd have them throw in the phone numbers for the for some of the actresses.
Speaking of creepy Hallmark Channel, jeez.
That's exactly right. Hey, you don't know me, but I used to own the house that
You know,
your
the
TV show
one,
took place in. Yeah,
the full one.
yeah, yes. I've been so devoted to your show, I just had to buy the house.
You know how it is,
Yeah,
right, Stephanie Tanner?
yeah. Deej.
Oh my God, it's terrible. Oh.
I even have a comet look-alike to run around in the yard.
Comet. Oh wow.
They do have Uncle Jesse's wife is in a lot of the Hallmark movies,
Yeah, I think that's how she's been sustained until Netflix paid for the show.
which is great, you know, because she actually does a good job acting. It's the other people that are just rough.
Lori Loughlin, I believe is her name.
Yeah, Laughlin, Laughlin. Yeah,
Potato, potato.
that's right. It's funny you say that. My brother, we were having a conversation over Christmas break at my parents' house, and my brother mispronounced potato, so I had to send him the clip from Lord of the Rings.
Oh,
Potato.
Mr. Frodo.
Let's still have a chickle fight.
Oh, Mr. Frodo. Yeah, it's pretty. It's actually, speaking of Lord of the Rings, it's pretty tough for me to watch those movies now.
Yeah?
Well,
Those-
I just constantly make fun of Sam and Frodo now,
Oh, sure.
and their torrid love affair.
Right. It is a little awkward, right?
Oh, Mr.
But-
Frodo.
I was just reading an
Sam.
article.
And Elijah Wood makes it worse, right? Like I can totally believe that Sam would be that kind of character, but like Elijah Wood just makes it so much worse when he's looking at him, just like, oh, Sam, Sam, and he's got that weird accent, you know? Oh,
Yeah.
Sam.
You just know me so well.
Oh, Sam. And they always are like complimenting each other.
Yeah. They're bros, man.
They won't tell a story about Frodo without old Sam. It's like, oh God.
Yeah. Well, Sam's important to the story.
Yeah, he and he gets very little credit. I mean, it is he does a lot. I will give you that.
Well, it's funny because it's like you look at the story and you realize that the ones who are like the strongest and most powerful did so little except for these key moments, right?
Yeah. I mean, I seriously, like, Gandalf does nothing magical in that story.
Not till the
Nothing.
end. Not till he had to.
Well, I mean, even then, like, and they play it up a lot more in The Hobbit, right? Because
Yeah.
he actually does magical stuff in The Hobbit.
Hmm.
But in Lord of the Rings, it's very much like, you know, it's like the Battle of Helm's Deep, and there he's just like, well, you know, look, in 3 days' time, look to the east. And it's like, okay, so basically you can tell time and you know the weather.
And you got a flare gun.
Yeah, well, you know, I'll give him that. He did find the glowing staff of whatever, but yeah, I mean that's basically it.
Well, and he did like come back after fighting a Balrog, right?
Yeah, but I mean that's kind of, and that's a big deal. Don't get me wrong, I get it.
I
But
mean, going from gray to white was super huge, but he didn't get like Super Saiyan powers, you know?
no, and again, he basically beat the Balrog with a flashlight.
That's flashlight with an A.
Yeah, I mean he you know
Yeah, yeah. His
he
his
he
his
pulled out the
staff.
sword and beat him down while they were falling, presumably forever.
Yeah, it's sort of hard to. It's sort of hard to get. I mean, the book gave you this feeling of detail, but it didn't. Even then, it left some of it up to your imagination.
Yeah,
And once they just sort of showed it all to you, it's like, oh, there has to be more to it than that.
I was just never overly impressed with Gandalf.
Mm,
Now Galadriel, totally magical.
yeah, yeah.
Rest of them, nope, not so much.
Speaking of wizards and warriors and stuff like that, I finally read Ready Player One.
Oh, okay. I have not read that.
Amazing.
Is it really?
It is amazing. It is
They're doing
such
they're doing the Spielberg's doing the movie.
such a love fest for everything 80s, you know?
Really?
Yeah.
Is it sci-fi or fantasy or both?
Oh,
Or
it's complete sci-fi.
oh, okay, all right.
I mean, the basic premise of the book is there was an insanely brilliant. It's basically almost like take like an Apple type, early Apple days type thing,
Yeah,
but make it a game developer instead of. And so instead of developing the Mac, the guy's a game programmer. And
okay.
he's got his best friend that's helping him out. The dude makes a couple really awesome best-selling games, and then disappears for a couple years into his office. You know, like right when the company's at the top of everything,
Yeah.
and he ends up developing this VR system that's completely immersive.
We're talking
And
like we're talking like Star Trek holodeck kind of immersive.
No, we're talking about goggles with haptic feedback gloves.
Oh, okay. All right.
And I mean, they even go into the detail. You know, it's the goggles do laser printing on the eye, on the retinas.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, this is sci-fi. You know, the guy is talking about the details, and the person who wrote this definitely has a love for video games and for this type of technology.
Yeah.
So he goes into the stuff where it's important. So guy creates this stuff. Basically, it becomes synonymous for the internet because everybody uses it to log in, because he doesn't charge any money for the service.
Right.
You know, you buy the gear to connect, but the service is free, and sort of, I guess it's sort of microtransactions. It all gets paid for by doing stuff within the virtual landscape.
Okay.
But ends up, several years later, people use it for school, people use it for everything. Well, this guy does all this stuff, makes a ton of money, and then one day, when he dies, sends out an email to everybody that basically says, "Hey, I've got an Easter egg hidden in this universe. Whoever finds it gets to inherit everything."
Oh, wow.
And so this is the story about the guy who goes through and, like a whole bunch of other people, tries to find this Easter egg. And it's a story about him, he's the first person to find the first step to the Easter egg.
Wow. So it's almost Charlie and the Chocolate Factory to a degree.
It is, except for it's skill based, right?
Yeah.
So it's all puzzles. It's not like you just happen to wander into the right room. You know, he has a puzzle. The guy figures it out. He goes in, does what he needs to do, and then he gets another clue after that. And there's 3 keys and 3 gateways that have to be opened, and you have to, for each gateway you have to have some sort of tasks that you have to complete to win the gateway. And there's a scoreboard that keeps
Gotcha.
track of everybody.
Gotcha. Oh, that's cool.
And whoever completes the 3rd gate first gets the Easter egg.
Cool. Wow.
Meanwhile, there's an evil corporation that wants to take over the company that owns this VR system. So they have all these people that are hired to go in and search for the Easter egg.
Nice. All right.
So all the hunters hate this company and want to do everything they can, but meanwhile, they're not helping each other out. There's a couple of guilds. There are guilds that run around, but a lot of them run around solo.
Interesting.
So it's a really cool story about this guy, and everything in the universe is based off of 80s stuff, because that's who the developer was a big fan of the 80s.
Okay.
So there's a lot of 80s game references, movie references, music references.
Wow. So if I'm not mistaken, I think it's Spielberg that's doing it.
Yeah, Spielberg. I think I'll make a good movie. The at first when I was reading, I'm like, this will be weird, because the character, every time the character's being described, his physical persona, it's like, I don't know if anybody would actually be engaged watching a movie about him, but you realize that most of it takes place in the VR universe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very rarely is he actually in the physical.
That would actually be pretty cool too, to have the two different actors playing.
Mm-hmm.
I doubt they'll do that, but that'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah, and they even talk about how in the universe they people can pick whatever avatar they want,
Right.
but there are some limitations in certain situations where you have to be the same gender. But that may just be for, I can't remember if it's just in the school or if that's across the whole VR thing.
Oh, interesting.
I think it's just in the school, because of course he has a crush on one of the net personalities.
Oh, that's a cool idea.
So he's really hoping that she is who she portrays herself to be.
Right, right. Oh, that's a cool idea. I like that. Nice. I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, it's a good book. Reads real quick.
I'm in the process of reading Patrick Rothfuss's book called The Name of the Wind. And if you're interested in fantasy, like straight up
Mm-hmm.
fantasy creatures and everything else, definitely check it out. You would like it.
I'll have to.
You would like it. All right. You know what I need to do? I need to draw some magicals. I need the magicals on here.
Yeah, if you want straight up fantasy, you might like No Game No Life. It started off as a light novel, but it's
sounds
anime
familiar.
and manga.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say it sounds familiar.
Yeah, it's about 2 kids who get sucked into a different world where the gods had this huge battle, and the one that won made a rule that there could be no more physical fighting. Everything had to be done through gameplay. And these 2 kids got sucked in because they were unbeaten in in Earth, and every game they played, the two of them won. You know,
Nice.
as a combined team.
Yeah.
So they were brought into this world because he basically he realized that he had no challenge in his universe, so he brought in these two players, these two kids to work together.
Oh, I
and
see.
and each of the races, you know, are there's so many races, and each of the races served a different god, and now that they were all defeated, and the only way they could fight is through playing games.
Right.
That's how they control, um, that's how they acquire land. That's how that's how they do trade deals. That's how they do everything. Is all based off of gameplay.
That's cool.
And the way the universe is created is that whatever you agree to for the conditions of the game and for winning, or whatever you concede if you lose,
The stakes.
has to happen, right?
Yeah.
It's not like you can say, "Oh, you know what? I'll always be your servant, following you around dressed as a dog." No, it happens. You cannot compel yourself to not do what you agreed to.
It's awesome.
So, yeah, it's interesting. And of course they bring in all the classic. They have vampires and animal people and mer people and angels and elves and a whole bunch of classic like mythology type creatures.
Right. Because why wouldn't you?
Well, I mean it's a fantasy environment, right?
Yeah.
So of course you're gonna have that. Yeah. And of course these two kids come in right when the human race is basically in their like they only have like one fortress left, and their land is all the way back to almost nothing, and they're at the verge of being destroyed, and they come in to take over that country, and their goal is to win everything so they can play, so that if they control all the races, then they have the rights to play the god that invited them in a game.
Oh, I gotcha.
So that's their goal. Is they want to win all the marbles.
Yeah, yeah. That's cool.
So, yeah, the only frustration you'll get with reading light novels is the story isn't finished, and that's always been my frustration. Is I like to it's almost like the Netflix binge, right?
Yeah.
You find a book series and you want to dive into it, and then you find out, well, this guy's writing. It's like if you're trying to do the
This is a series? No.
yeah, Game of Thrones, right? If you're trying to read those books,
Yeah.
and you're like, well, I'm at the author's mercy.
Basically. Which a lot of people find themselves at.
Right. And what's interesting is with it's like a lot of the books, the people will publish them whenever they're ready. Right?
Right.
Like, this is what I write, but I think most of the time with like light novels, because there's manga adaptations and anime that's associated with it that directly impacts their sales, is they have this is when this volume is released. This is when this volume is released, and you sort of know when the next two are going to be released, because that's just so. I always just pre-order as soon as Amazon gives me the option. It's like, here we go.
Speaking of anime, I meant to ask you. There was I saw the other day people were posting about like the best things of 2016.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them was a documentary. Let me see if I get this straight. A documentary about artists doing manga artwork in Japan that they were saying was like super good, super true, super real,
Okay,
and all this sort of stuff.
so there's 3 anime out there right now
No, no, no,
that
no. This
deal.
is live action.
Oh, this is live action. I
This
haven't
is
seen the live action.
this is a documentary.
Okay,
Yeah, this is totally documentary. Um,
oh, I'll have to watch that.
Control Shift. Where's Alt? Did I not do an Alt on this thing? How could I have not done an Alt? That's just silliness. Absolute silliness. There we go. And then
So is that your new
guy-
way of doing your color profile?
What's that?
Having that little your little cheat box there.
Yes. Yeah, it just makes it easier to grab.
Sure.
You know?
No, it's brilliant.
So I really wish that they had. Do not save. I wish that they had a little bit better way of um, adding like another image up here or something like that. You know, where you could have the window
Yeah.
just sort of floating and it didn't lose its priority as far as stacking. Like it was always on top. Its focus.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in this case, what you really want is a better way of doing your color palette on the left, other than just those boxes.
Oh, I could drop in. Yeah, I could easily just drop these in, but I like having the little descriptions and whatnot, you know?
But that's what I'm saying is the problem is you almost want to have this is my color palette for this character. This is my color palette. So if you knew what each palette, like what each series of colors is, with, you would know that this yellow is obviously only for this character
Right.
because it's in that character's palette.
Right, right.
So you wouldn't really need the description. You just need to know who it belongs to.
Yes. Yeah. See, I just want to grab like inner mouth and then close that down and then come down to flats and do that. Like that's all of that.
Right.
All of that was just for that, which is silly, but it's okay.
It's like that thumb paintboard thingy, right? When you're painting.
The thumb paint board. Oh, you mean like the palette?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's exactly right.
Yeah. No, I'll have to watch that documentary. I know that the industry's done a decent job recently in some of the anime with trying to represent various aspects,
Yeah.
like writing manga, creating anime, or making video games. And they've, people have said, "Hey, this is actually pretty spot on," but or at least the stuff that isn't, the drama.
Right.
Yeah, check that out.
Yeah, I need to. It was all online. Somebody had said they found it, all online, but I think I lost the links. But I really wanted to check it out, and see kind of what it was about. Grody.
Hmm. That was my niece's favorite saying whenever I was beating her. We were playing air hockey the other day.
Whenever you were beating her.
Yeah, whenever I was beating her playing air hockey.
Oh, okay.
Like I'd score on her, and she would she would just say disgusting, boring. I was like, "Oh, sorry. You have to protect your goal a little better." Whereas the way she played air hockey, the only way I could really score on her was having multiple pucks on the going at once.
Did they get an air hockey table for Christmas or something?
No, this was at my grandma's house.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. She got bored, so I had to go entertain her for a while.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Your grandma had air hockey.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was really her daughter's air hockey table that she had for her kids to play on several years ago or whatever.
Oh,
But yeah,
I got you.
it's not like my grandma's down there throwing it at 95.
You'll never beat grandma's high score.
That's right.
Never. No one beats Grandma Toll. Nobody.
My dad got a Echo for Christmas,
Oh, really?
so I kept trying to.
I've seen some super interesting videos of that.
It's pretty cool,
Oops.
but we're trying to compare it with Siri, and there are a couple places where Siri was really disappointing.
I mean, I'm sure you've seen the videos, right? Of like the one kid talking to the Echo, asking it.
I haven't yet. No.
Oh my lord. It's crazy. It gets super adult super quick. So I won't give you the details, but it's hilarious. It is the best thing I've ever heard.
I'll have to check it out.
And the kid just doesn't even know what he's asking for. He's just like, I forget what nonsense word he says. It's not even nonsense. Like he pronounces it oddly, right?
Okay.
And then from then on, it's just like the thing's like, okay, I will take you to, and just rattles off this stuff. And the parents are like, oh dear God, no, 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 no. Echo, stop, stop, stop. And,
Echo, Alexa? What's a Cleveland steamer?
yeah, it's not. I mean, it's not quite that bad, but it gets pretty quick. Like it gets pretty close to that. And the parents are just flipping out. It's amazing.
That's brilliant.
Oh God. I mean, they're just scrambling. You can hear them all just scrambling. All right, let me see what. I gotta look at some reference here to make sure. See if remember how I colored it. Okay. All right. All right. We got this. We got this. I gave him that purple. Let's actually go a little lighter. Yeah, let's do that with it. Did a doggy come in here? I thought a doggy came in here. It's just a ghost. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. As long as it's a friendly one.
No worries there. Alright, let's move the sketch layer up above the flats for just 2 seconds. And let's grab that. And ooh, let's do some texture. That's not what I wanted to do. Not what I wanted to do. Actually, it is what I wanted to do. Oh. Well, it doesn't quite work unless you darken it up. There, KV.
Come on.
Too much, too much, too much, too much. Let's see what else we got. Brush pen too dry. Nope, nope, nobody no. Brush pen. We might come back to that. Let's do this one. I know we just tried this one, but I see it's just too much. It's like I want a little. Let's try Leaky Larry. That's way too much.
Everybody needs a little Leaky Larry.
Too much Leaky Larry. That's too even. I've only got like 1,000 different inking and brushing tools to pick from, so. Oh, actually, you know what would be even better? Let's turn the sketch layer off. Let's come here. And we'll grab all of this. And then deselect everything there. And then we'll do the copy paste, which I can't remember what keys were the copy paste. Oh, top two. All right, we're back. Boom. Do our transparency. And then deselect. That is not what I had. Let's try that one. Got it. All right, so this way, when I'm painting on, let's just go to 50. Turn this back on. So this way, when I'm painting, because of the transparency, now I won't actually get I can just drag down and not worry about getting into the other colors. Ha-ha. We can just do it that way. Rough in trees right quick.
Are those happy trees?
These are super happy trees. And you know I love Bob Ross.
I do.
I used to have but before it was cool, I had a Bob Ross t-shirt. And I can't find it anymore, and it makes me sad. And it said something about happy trees on it, but I had it years ago. Like pre Hot Topic.
Right. Because I can see you rocking that. You know? You wouldn't care. You're like, okay, sure.
No, in a heartbeat. Without question. Boy, I don't like that negative space right above his ear. It just says, look, hey, look, here's like a reversed K. Who wants to look at this reversed K right here? Yeah, then we got a cross there, and it's going to be like, hey, who wants to cross over right there? Slightly less accurate, but I'll let it go today. All right, sweet. All right, let's continue flatting. Flatting. We knew that was going to go crazy. Crazy, crazy. Ooh, I don't think I ever showed the trim on his outfit, but you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking it's going to be that color. And then this is up close enough. We're going to get a green here. Ooh, Bill is upset. He is not happy in the least. So for anybody that doesn't know and hasn't been reading Legend of Bill, Bill sort of hulks out at times, which is sort of as yet unexplained, but we know that the wizard characters in the story all know about his sort of rage. But they've never really sat down and given a clear explanation of why exactly he can rage out at times. And so, really all you need to know is that Bill can rage out. And
does he know why?
He does not know why, and he doesn't remember doing it.
There you go.
Tats. Let's get the tats on there. Okay, so I got a little ahead of myself because above these tats right here, we need some magicals. We need the magicals. And I think I'm going to go with an orange. And again, you know, for people who might not have been hanging out the last few times that I've streamed, what I'm sort of doing here is just laying in some flats for the colorist who will come along and rock this thing for the actual website. And so I'll do a little bit more, but I'm not by any means doing like what I would consider professional colors or anything like that on this right now. This is just kind of flatting to help and give it a little visual variety, because I will post the strip at legendofbill.com before Don, the colorist, has the chance to actually do his part. And so it just makes it a little more interesting than the black and white strips. And so, and hopefully it makes it a little more interesting for people kind of hanging out in the stream to see what happens.
You get the whole process, or at least most of it.
Right. Because really what we want to know here, what we want to say here is that he's warming up. And I think what I want to do, now this is going to be interesting. Let's see if this works. Yeah, that does not work. Let's go back normal. Get that. I wasn't as happy with those holes I cut as I thought I was. So I think I'd rather draw them in. Or we may not need them. Alright, now let's go back to our globe. Let's duplicate this. And we're going to make it normal. And, well, we didn't really need to even do that, actually. Let's just delete that. So we'll come here, we'll hold down Control, and we'll get that selection. I love that feature. Absolutely love that feature. Let's add another layer below that. What we'll do here is shrink this by some millimeters. Oh, hey, let's see. Is it oh man, is this Vanster? Vanster? Set aside $20 a week. I can buy Centene around 10 months. Dude, that's awesome. I say do it by all means. If you like drawing and you enjoy drawing digitally, the Cintiq is just it's amazing. I mean, it really is the coolest thing. Um, I highly recommend it. And I'm gonna go with why Vanster. Why Vankster. Thanks for hanging out, man. Or lady. If you have any questions or anything, let us know. We'll be glad to answer them. That doesn't do what I want it to do. Let's go to screen.
That almost sounds like one of those fundraising commercials.
What's that?
For just $20 a week.
If you can set aside $20 a week,
you too can save.
Well, a lot of people have a Starbucks budget, right? And $20 a week is not crazy. I mean, you'll easily spend that at Starbucks if you've got your Starbucks budget. So.
Yeah, or you eat out a couple times during the week.
Absolutely, yeah.
One less plate of nachos.
Right.
Starts that up.
So I'm not going to do much cut and grad here on this first panel. I am going to do some here on this panel, though. Grabbing all of that green right there. And we'll do our copy paste. And we'll do that. Deselect. Oop, actually I meant that. Let's do foreground to transparent. And I always do that. There we go. Now foreground to transparent. Combine mode is multiply. I'm actually going to get a circle here to sort of darken in behind. Darken in behind just a little bit, and then I'll switch back to that, and we'll do an overlay. A little too much. Just to do a little bit there. Let's switch back over here to the flats and grab this guy. I'm just going to grab these guys all at once. We'll do a copy paste with them. Also set the transparency and deselect. You got to unselect it. And I think we should try to grab this. I don't think overlay is going to work really well for us with this. I mean, it is a little bit there, but I'm going to go circle again. Pull that back. Let's switch this to screen. Screen is a really cool mode. When I was doing more compositing in film work at DreamWorks, I used the screen all the time for effects. It is cool. Whoa, easy now. Let's get back on our flats layer. I'm going to grab all of this gold. How come that didn't come over? Oh, let's not follow adjacent. There we go. paste. Well, I can tell you this: the Tartarus control that I was playing with at the first is definitely cool, and it's definitely working. It's not quite as I'm not quite as used to it as my other one, so it's a little bit slower for me at this point. But it wouldn't take much to get up, man. It's pretty spot on. What I want to do here is go back to my gradient and get that. I don't think I can screen. Oh no, I can, which is interesting. But okay, I'll take it. One thing I want to try though is grabbing the gold first. Let's just get a couple spots. Yeah, that's gonna be too much. So let's keep it local here with the. Hopefully you guys can see where I'm actually making my circles. And I'm just sort of layering it on to get a little harder highlights on there, you know. What I'm going to do though is I'm going to come back and make another layer and grab white and do sort of a bloomish. We're doing a screen, so a screen is sort of like adding. So what you're doing is, if you imagine these images as pixels, right, like a little square of color all in here, what you're doing with a screen is you're sort of adding the two together based on the RGB values of that pixel. So that's not going to work. So if I do a multiply, it's not going to work either, because if white is 1 and black is 0, 1 times 0 is exactly. So I can come back with a normal though, and that should just lay on top of it like you would expect. Except for the fact that my ink layer is way up top. So just drop that up there. So then you kind of get a bloom, but that kind of looks crappy. So I'm going to see if maybe... because I don't want it to be too, I don't want to be too overpowering here. And again, I'm only laying in the flats. I definitely don't want that. I definitely don't want that. Those couple I'll take. Then I'm going to grab my brush and get back up to Lando Calibrusian. There we go. So we've got the white. Now I'm going to come down to the flats layer. Oh wait, sorry, not flats layer, my gold layer. And add the streaky highlights.
That little bit adds quite a bit to it.
What, the gold? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, gold is kind of tricky. Like you gotta add just the right whites in the right spots to make it feel right, you know?
To get those highlights, yeah.
Yeah, and doing a shadow is super difficult. So you want to start with gold. You want to start with your darkest gold tone, which is like down here in his armpit area, and then work up to your highest. Now the cooler thing here though is what I need to do is grab this panel. This is going to be interesting, because what I really want to do is get, yeah, see, that kind of grabbed everything, which is not really what I wanted exactly. Let's do follow adjacent and see if I can get it to stick. Sort of. But it's still not quite. It's close to what I want, but it's not quite what I want. You'll see what I want in a minute. really what I want to do here, I'm going to turn off all the flats, all the colors, tattoos, layer 1, that. So all we have is Bill. And I want to grab inside here, but then that's going to go crazy because I'm inking there. Multiple referring, we'll keep it all in there, which can work. Basically, building selections is the key to a lot of this stuff. So I'm going to try to invert. And see, that sort of grabbed everything, which is not exactly what I wanted. Let's try and make it work. The one thing I find about Clip Studio Paint and Manga Studio is the way that it sort of displays its selection is a bit weird sometimes. But that's, I mean, so you can see that that's what I want, is I just want Bill selected, right? But it's also getting that. So all I want is Bill. So, but the display seems weird, right? Like it doesn't seem like you would think it should look. And by display, I mean the marching ants, the sort of classic selection display.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, so if we just grab this as a test, and I do this sometimes where I'll just come in and color in the layer on a fresh layer just to see what's actually masked and what's not. Okay, so that's pretty much what I want. And I just lost it. Okay. So what I'm going to do is fill that with black. Okay, so now I just have where's that no coming from? Did it fill it? It does not look like it filled it. What the what? What the what? There we go. All right. So now I just have that. And what that means is I can hold control and click on the layer and get my selection exactly how I wanted it. Now what I may do is go ahead and come in here with this guy, get rid of that. Just to be safe. And that'll be okay. Yeah, because we've got all of our edges. Okay, so what I want to do from here is I want to come and I want to expand this just a little bit, even less than that, like maybe 0.5. Okay. And then I want to blur the border by, let's do 1. That'll be okay. Oh, actually, you know what? No, I do not. I do not want to do that. I'm going to create another layer. This one we're going to fill with white. Okay. Now I'm going to hit Control again and get that selection back. Create a new layer. This time we're going to expand 0.2.
So you're going to feather it out just a little bit?
Yeah. Now I'm going to blur it by 0.7 millimeters. Okay. This one is getting filled with red. And now a lot of these, I'm totally just eyeballing these things, so we're gonna have to kind of, you know, figure it out as we go here. Yeah, so you can see my white went way too far. I really only want that just a little bit. I mean, I might can... Let's go ahead and turn back on all of our stiff, because now we can grab... Yeah, so you can see all the selection problems that we have. So what I want to do is I will reload the selection from here, which gives us that. Turn that off. And in fact, I'm just going to delete that layer because it's no good. We'll make a new one. This time we'll expand. I think we did like, what, 0.7 last time? Let's cut that in half-ish.
Yeah. So you're shrinking the feathering just a tad, right?
Yeah, well, I'm shrinking that expansion around it,
Right.
and I think it
Right.
needs to be. I think it needs to be shrank even more, actually.
Oh, it looks pretty sharp like that, even in black and white.
Okay, so we'll fill that with white. That's a little better. And even that's a little strong. I'm just trying some of the dodges to see if I can get it to play a little nicer. I think we should get rid of that too. And what we'll do
Oh,
is,
nice pink glow.
yeah, right. We'll load the selection from the white, and then we will expand 0.2 again. Actually, you know what? Let's just feather it from here. Let's just do that. And nowhere near that much. Let's do 0.4. We'll add another layer. Grab the red. Yep, see, not enough red that time. Still not quite enough red. Almost, though. Let's expand 0.1 millimeters. That's more what I'm looking for. That's more what we want. Now I just need to figure out the ooh.
Now he's got a pink triangle in his armpit.
Yep. Yeah, building that selection was a little more difficult than I thought it would be.
And it's not like you do it often with this character, right?
No, no, no. This is a super special case, actually.
Yeah.
Super duper special case. Whoa, 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 whoa. Easy. Easy text. Oh, interesting. So let's hit delete there. Delete there. Do that. And that. Yeah, I'm doing a whole bunch of custom stuff here that I should just be forgetting about, but I do want to make sure. I would almost rather do it this way than write an email to the colorist trying to explain exactly,
Yeah.
what I want. It's like, nope, just make it look this way.
But I won't tell you how I did it.
Good luck. May the odds be ever in your favor.
That's right.
All right, let's get our highlights back. Let's go ahead and save after all that. Woo! Rage Bill. We're Bill raging. Bill raging. Alright, so one thing I'm going to do right quick is just line up the text. You guys know what this is like. Dun da da. I will do just one more question, ma'am. Just one more question. Just one more question. That should grab all of that blue color right there. Okay, so now we'll do our whole big sky shenanigans where we can come in here and grab this color, and we don't want to add, let's screen again. We'll go straight, there we go, straight down. Okay, then we'll go to multiply to make it darker. Something like that. Save that. Alright, so I'm going to throw some color into this no up here. And what I'm probably going to do, just throw another layer on top of it and grab ta-da, strip.
Wow, that's a rage no.
No. He's hulking out. It's go time. It's about to be go time on all sides here, I'm afraid, ladies and gentlemen. All right. So I'll probably do one or two more things, but I'm not going to keep everybody hanging around just for that. And by everybody, I just mean you, Toll, because hey, everybody. But
I'm
hey,
everybody.
right now. You're everybody, I think. And no, I take that back. Except for YouTube. I see you, YouTube. I ain't forgot about you. But hey, everybody, thanks for hanging out. And why Vanster? Jump in with a follow and subscribe if you haven't already. And thanks for hanging out for the first strip of 2017. And oh, I gotta change the date. Look at that. Look at that. That's not cool. I gotta change that to 2017. Otherwise, somebody's gonna just steal this strip. Um, but hey, have a great night, everybody. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you again soon. So get ready. Here we go. Bye, everybody.
There you go. All right. Well, I'm going to drop